Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today, you know what time it is. It's the end of the month, so it's time for my end of the month wrap up. So these are all the books that I read in the month of May. Okay, I'm going to start from the first book that I read of the month to the last book because the order in which I read the books this month was very important. Okay, so the first book that I picked up for the month, literally on May 1st, was City of Fallen Angels by Cassandra Clare, which is the fourth book in the Mortal Instruments series. I started this book on May 1st. I didn't finish the book until May 29th. I know. Hear me out. I was not vibing with it. I literally rated it a 2-star. 2 stars because I could not get through this book. I got to 200 pages and completely put it down, and it took me like 2 weeks to get to 200 pages, and then once I hit that 200 page mark I was done. So I picked up A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen, and this was the first book that I technically finished for the month. So A Fate Inked in Blood, I rated this a 4-star. This is the first book in her Saga of the Unfated series, and this is my first Danielle Jensen book. I have not yet read the Bridge Kingdom series by her, and now they're being republished, so I can't even get the physical copy. I might be able to read them on Kindle Unlimited, but I'm not positive about that. So I started off with this series by her, and I honestly really enjoyed it. This was, how do I explain this? I'm not even gonna try to because I suck at book descriptions, and I could read the little blurb to you, but I would just sound like a robot. But the plot twist at the end I really was not expecting, and so I'm really excited for the next one. The next book that I read, which was really where my May reading picked up, was You with the View by Jessica Joyce. 5 stars. I literally love this book so much. This book had me like reading slump gone. Like, it was just what I needed to like turn my month around. And if you guys haven't read this book, I encourage you to please do so. It was so good. You should see the amount of tabs I have. And this woman, Noelle, her grandma died, and she found like these secret letters to this like unknown person who like wasn't her grandfather. So she decided to track the person down, and she ended up meeting his grandson, who turned out to be her old high school like nemesis. And they decided to go on like this road trip that the grandparents were supposed to go on. That never happened because they weren't together anymore. And so the three of them, her, the grandpa, and the grandson, who's the enemy, who's the high school nemesis, all go on this like road trip together. Obviously they fall in love, yada yada yada, and it was just so good, and it was like just what I needed to like keep my reading spirits up, because they were dead, they were dying. And then the next book I read was The Dixon Rule by Elle Kennedy. This book came out this month. I loved the first book in the Campus Diary series, and I was so excited for this one. This one caught me off guard. If you guys know, you know. And the teasers for the next book, I'm so excited. And I also rated this a 5-star, so that's 2 5-star reads in the month of May. And it's just, this one had me, you know what I'm trying to say. And then I decided to go back to fantasy because I picked up this duology by Alexis Menard. So I read House of Bane and Blood and City of Mirth and Malice. I rated House of Bane and Blood a 4.5. I really liked it. It was like rival families, arranged marriage, like touch my wife you die vibes, you know. And I only rated it a 4.5 because I didn't understand the fantasy aspect. It took me a minute like to grasp what was going on in that way. And then City of Mirth and Malice, which is the second book, I rated it a 3.5. The first half was just really slow, and then we kind of picked up in the second half, and then this is technically a duology, so there's only 2 books, and she left so many unanswered questions. Like, they don't necessarily have to be answered, but like they should have been, and it should have been like all closed up and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not relieved. Should have been, they should have been answered. I shouldn't have questions. I shouldn't feel like the story should have to keep going. So that got knocked a few points because of that. And that was the 6 that was the 6 books that I read in May, because I ended up going back to City of Fallen Angels and reading the last 200 pages. So it was a hard month reading wise. I was so unmotivated to read, and to remedy that, in the month of June, I have declared June a reread month. I'm going to reread some of my all-time favorites to get me back in the spirit of reading, and I'm really excited. So I pulled down my top 4 that I would like to read. I would also like to finish Mortal Instruments, so I'm currently reading City of Lost Souls, and then hopefully I get to City of Heavenly Fire. But some of my rereads on my list are Throttled by Lauren Asher. This book will never not be my favorite, and I know nothing about F1, and I learned everything I need to know about F1 in this book. And now that I've actually like started watching the races, I want to read this to get that F1 feeling going again. And then the book that will always get me out of a slump, The Deal by Elle Kennedy. There's just nothing this book can't cure, in my opinion, and every once in a while I just have to go back to the drawing board. I have to go back to Hannah and Garrett, and they are the blueprint. They are. And then, because my TikTok loves me, it loves to bring up quotes from Binding 13 and Keeping 13 literally on a daily basis, and I just like need a good reread. I need a good cry. I need a good heart-shattering moment. And I've read both Binding 13 and Keeping 13 3 times, I think. So I'm going for a 4th, because there's just nothing these books can't do for me. Like, I just love, and I love Johnny and Shannon, so what better way to get out of a slump than by reading some all-time favorites. And I think I have a couple more on the list. There are some new releases that are coming out. So first there's going to be Crossroads, which is Devney Perry's new series that's coming out. And then we have Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher, and that's the 2nd book in her like Lakefront Billionaire series. So those are the 2 new releases for the month that hopefully I can get to. And that is my June TBR. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!